Hey guys, I'm back again, and this is December 1st, so the first day of Vlogmas. Yes, your girl is going to attempt this a second time. I barely made it last year because I caught the flu at the end, and as a matter of fact, I just had COVID for 1 week. So, we just gonna dwell on the positive and move on. I'm fine. Thank God I was vaccinated. Okay, so let's move on to Vlogmas. So this is the first day of Vlogmas, and I've decided to do a TBR for December. Now, I'm not really good with TBRs like that. So I have a stack of books here. So one book that I'm currently reading, that buddy reading with Morgan, and like right when I started to get into the book is when I fell sick with COVID, so I had to quit reading it. So I will be starting off December reading Let Us Descend by Jesmyn Ward. I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm going to start over again from page 1 so that I'm in the right frame of mind to just take in all the goodness, which I hope this book will be. So if you don't know, this is a slave narrative, but told in a different way. It says, on a slave plantation in the Carolinas, Annis has survived in the light of her mother's resilience, comforted by stories of her African warrior grandmother. Everything she knows, she learned from her mother: how to fight, how to be strong, how to grow up in a world shrouded in darkness. When she is sold south by the white enslaver who fathered her, Annis must venture onward through the rich but unforgiving landscapes of the American South alone, from the rice fields of the Carolinas to the slave markets of New Orleans, and into the fearsome heart of a Louisiana sugar plantation. Searching for relief in memories of her mother, she opens herself to a world beyond her own, teeming with spirits of earth, water, history, and myth. So this is a reimagining of American slavery, as beautifully rendered as it is heart-wrenching. Let Us Descend offers a magnificent portrait of the strength of the human spirit and its ability to emerge from darkness into light. This is a story of beauty, love, rebirth, and reclamation, a masterwork for the ages. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be back with a review of this one because I've heard so many things about this one and not such good things, but I am on a positive wavelength, so I'm thinking this one's gonna be all right. So that's one that I know for sure I will be reading. Now, the next book on my list is this one right here, which is A Storied Life of A.J. Fickery. And this one I am reading for my book club here in Normandy. I have to finish reading this one for Saturday. So, yeah. When you're watching this, yeah. So I have to finish this one for Saturday, but I think I will make it. So let's go on to the next books. I have actually here 4 books I will subsequently choose from to read, because I really don't think in December I'm going to be able to read all of these. I mean, I would love to be able, to do that and say, yeah, I'm going to read all these. But I know myself very well. And if I do get a chance to read this, it's because I was very much staying away from all the other excess things that I could be doing. And I decided to read instead. But, it's December, Christmas, and all that. So we're going to just hope for the best. But I have 2 biggies and 2 smallies. So let's start with one biggie, and that is The Fraud by Zadie Smith. So this is Zadie Smith's latest book. Just came out last month. I have not cracked it open, and it is quite the chunker. Coming in at 455 pages. Okay, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. Coming to 455 pages. If I get a chance, The Fraud. Okay, so you're thinking, well, what is this all about? But one thing y'all got to look at is look how beautiful these end pages are. Oh my goodness. Gorgeous. All right, so it says, it is 1873. Mrs. Eliza Touche is the Scottish housekeeper and cousin by marriage of a once famous novelist, now in decline, William Ainsworth, with whom she has lived for 30 years. Mrs. Touche is a woman of many interests: literature, justice, abolitionism, class, her cousin, his wives, this life and the next. But she is also skeptical. She suspects her cousin of having no talent. His successful friend, Mr. Charles Dickens, of being a bully and a moralist, and England of being a land of facades in which nothing is quite what it seems. Andrew Bogle, meanwhile, grew up enslaved on the Hope Plantation, Jamaica. He knows every lump of sugar comes at a human cost, that the rich deceive the poor, and that people are more easily manipulated than they realize. When Bogle finds himself in London, star witness in a celebrated case of imposture, he knows his future depends on telling the right story. The Tichborne trial captivates Mrs. Touche and all of England. Is Sir Roger Tichborne really who he says he is, or is he a fraud? Mrs. Touche is a woman of the world. Mr. Bogle is no fool. But in a world of hypocrisy and self-deception, deciding what is real proves a complicated task. Based on real historical events, The Fraud is a dazzling novel about truth and fiction, Jamaica and Britain, fraudulence and authenticity, and the mystery of other people. So, yeah, that sounds actually really good. So it would be great if I could, get a chance to read this one, but we're going to see. If I don't read it in this month, I will definitely read it next month. Okay, now a small one that I have is this one, which is called The First Ladies by Mary Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. Now, these two ladies did a joint novel a year ago or 2 years ago, which was called The Personal Librarian, which I read and absolutely loved. And so here they're coming with the story of the friendship between Mary McLeod Bethune and Eleanor Roosevelt. So this one is coming in at, it's not really that short, this one. It's coming in at 383 pages. But, I am very motivated about reading this one because I wish I would have read it when I first received it, but it came at the wrong time. But this one, it says, daughter of formerly enslaved parents, Mary McLeod Bethune refuses to back down as white supremacists attempt to thwart her work. She marches on as an activist and an educator, and as her reputation grows, she becomes a celebrity, revered by titans of business and recognized by U.S. presidents. Eleanor Roosevelt herself is awestruck and eager to make her acquaintance. Initially drawn together because of their shared belief in women's rights and the power of education, Mary and Eleanor become fast friends, confiding their secrets, hopes, and dreams, and holding each other's hands through tragedy and triumph. All right, so as you can see, this is probably going to be a very interesting read. These are two really strong women that have a very unconventional friendship at a very complicated moment in American history. This has got to be good, and I'm hopefully will definitely get to this one. Okay, the next big one on my list is Paul Murray's The Bee Sting. Okay, so ever since the shortlist of the Booker Prize came out, this is the book that interests me the most, that pulled me in when I read what it was about. And the fact that it's about family stories, if y'all been following me for a minute, you know how I love a good family story. So Sting did not win the Booker this year, but no fail. I'm going to read The Bee Sting, All right, so it says, the Barnes family is in trouble. Dickie's once lucrative car business is going under, but rather than face the music, he's spending his days in the woods, building an apocalypse-proof bunker with a renegade handyman. His wife, Imelda, is selling off her jewelry on eBay and half-heartedly dodging the attention of fast-talking cattle farmer Big Mike, while their teenage daughter, Cass, formerly top of her class, seems determined to bend shrink her way to her final exams. And 12-year-old PJ, in debt to local sociopath Ears Morin is putting the final touches to his grand plan to run away from home. The present is in meltdown, but the causes lie deep in the past. If you wanted to change this story, how far back would you have to go? To the car crash 12 months before Cass was born, to the infamous bee sting which ruined Imelda's wedding day, all the way back to Dickie's at 10-year-old trembling before his father in the garden, learning how to be a real man? Is it possible that a single moment of bad luck set in motion everything that came after? And does that mean the fate of the Barnes family is already sealed? They are facing a reckoning. If they can't change the past or rewrite the story they have already lived, it is too late for a happy ending. All right. So there you have it. This one has got to be good. Oh. But this one weighs in at a whopping 643 pages. So it's quite the chunker. Next book I have on my list is The Swimmers. And this is by Julie Otsuka. Now, I read earlier her first, I don't know if it's her first novel, actually. Yeah, her first novel, which was called The Buddha in the Attic, which I thought was very, very good with the third person oral main point of view. I thought that was very interesting the way she did that. So this is called The Swimmers, and it's something I immediately gravitated towards since I, before COVID, used to go to the pool all the time. I miss it a lot. And when I saw this, it said, pick me up. It says the swimmers are unknown to one another except through their private routines. Slow lane, medium lane, fast lane, and the solace it each takes in their morning or afternoon laps. But when a crack appears at the bottom of the pool, they are cast out into an unforgiving world. One of these swimmers is Alice, who is slowly losing her memory. For Alice, the pool was a final stand against the darkness of her encroaching dementia. Without the fellowship of other swimmers and the routine of her daily laps, she is plunged into dislocation and chaos, swept into memories of her childhood and the Japanese-American incarceration camp in which she spent the war. Alice's estranged daughter, re-entering her mother's life too late, witnesses her devastating decline. The Swimmers is a searing, intimate story of mothers and daughters and the sorrows of implacable loss, a spellbinding, unforgettable work from a modern master. Okay, so this is one, it risks to be a little sad, but she's very good with the writing, so yeah. And then I'm going to see if I can try to get to this one, which is Leslie Effin Jones by Leslie Jones, the comedian. And this is her memoir. And I feel like this one should be a fast read. The font size is enormous. Like, it's huge. Yeah, I feel like this should be an interesting read. I'll let you know. I love this cover picture of her when she was a child. I think it's really cute. Those are all of the ones that I have that are books that I have on my list. Now, of course, you know I have some graphic novels as well that I just purchased not so long ago, which those as well could possibly wind up on my list. For example, you remember this one I showed you, Madeleine, which is book number 2. And these two about Alexander Dumas' father are also on my list to read this month. So that is all that I have for my TBR. Thanks so much for coming and checking in here for day 1 of Vlogmas. I hope you will continue to watch my Vlogmas videos because yeah, I try, to let you see a little bit of my world and what I am all about other than reading. Reading is a big part of my life, but I do have other loves of my life, which you will see over these next 25 days. So thanks for coming. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch my last video, I asked people to ask me questions. I'm going to be doing a Q&A video. If you're still interested in asking me some questions, you can drop them below and I will oblige if I can. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Bye.